In the aisles of a small, struggling grocery store, the world's richest man does the unthinkable for a struggling single mother. But what happens next? It's a story that will move millions to tears and spark a movement that no one saw coming. It started like any other day for Clara. A single mother of two, she worked double shifts at a diner and barely managed to make ends meet. Her old sedan, on the verge of breaking down, was parked outside the local grocery store, a small, unassuming place that offered discounts on nearing expiration items. With a tightly clenched grocery list and a handful of coupons, Clara stepped into the store, her mind racing with calculations to stretch her last $20. As Clara moved through the aisles, meticulously comparing prices and mentally tallying up her cart, another figure entered the store. He wore a baseball cap pulled low and a simple hoodie, blending in like any other shopper. What no one knew, yet, was that this man was Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur. Elon had arrived in town for an unrelated project. With some downtime and an urge to explore, he decided to walk into the store unannounced. Let's see what people actually care about in their day-to-day lives, he thought to himself. But what happened next was far from what he expected. Clara stood in the canned goods aisle, staring at two options, the name brand her kids preferred or the cheaper store brand. Her hand hovered, and she sighed deeply. That's when Elon, just a few feet away, noticed her pause. Something about her hesitation caught his attention. He wasn't sure why, but he decided to observe for a moment longer. Her frustration grew as she realized even the discounted option would push her over budget. She placed the can back and walked away, visibly defeated. Elon followed at a distance, pretending to browse but unable to ignore the growing pit in his stomach. He wasn't used to seeing such stark, personal moments of struggle. Moments later, in the produce section, Clara faced another dilemma: fresh fruit or frozen meals. Her kids loved bananas, but they weren't on sale. As she put the bananas back, muttering something under her breath, Elon stepped closer. "Excuse me," he said, his voice friendly but firm. Clara turned, startled. "Yes?" she asked cautiously. "Are you okay?" he asked, his tone genuine. Clara hesitated, embarrassed. "I'm fine. Just tight budget things." She forced a smile and started to walk away, but Elon wasn't done. "Let me help," he said. Clara blinked, confused. "Help? I don't even know you." "You don't need to," Elon replied. "I just want to make your day a little easier." No strings attached. She frowned, unsure whether to be grateful or suspicious. "Why would you do that?" He shrugged. "Because I can. And because you shouldn't have to choose between fruit and a meal." Reluctantly, Clara agreed, thinking this was just some well-meaning stranger. Elon asked her to grab everything she needed and assured her he'd take care of it at checkout. Though hesitant, Clara began picking items she hadn't dared consider before: fresh vegetables, whole grain bread, even a small cake for her kids. By the time they reached the register, Clara's cart was fuller than it had been in months. When the cashier scanned the items and announced the total, over $200, Clara's heart sank. But Elon casually pulled out his card and paid without a second thought. "Thank you," Clara said softly, her voice breaking. "I don't even know your name, but thank you." Elon smiled, but instead of introducing himself, he simply said, "Just pay it forward when you can." And with that, he turned to leave. Clara, overwhelmed, wiped away tears as the cashier handed her the receipt. But the story didn't end there. The following day, Clara was still replaying the encounter in her mind. She couldn't shake the man's words. "Pay it forward when you can." It was a simple phrase, yet it carried weight. She hadn't told anyone about what had happened, fearing they'd think she was making it up. But life has a way of revealing the truth. Later that afternoon, Clara's phone buzzed with a notification. Her best friend, Maria, had sent her a message. "Is this you?" Attached was a link to a video. Confused, Clara tapped on it. The video showed a shaky, low-quality recording from someone inside the grocery store. In the clip, Clara stood by the checkout, talking to the mysterious man. The caption read, "When the world's richest man does this for a struggling mom." Clara froze, her heart pounding. She recognized herself in the video. But who was this man everyone was talking about? She scrolled through the comments, her confusion quickly turning to shock. Wait, that's Elon Musk. Man, say what you want about the guy, but this was wholesome. Billionaire with a heart? Who knew? This is what real impact looks like. Clara's jaw dropped. The man who had paid for her groceries wasn't just some kind stranger. He was Elon Musk. The realization hit her like a freight train. Before she could process it, her phone rang. It was Maria. Clara, why didn't you tell me? Maria exclaimed. I didn't know. Clara stammered. I had no idea who he was. Well, now everyone does, Maria said. That video's everywhere. It's on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, you name it. People are calling it the Musk miracle. Clara's head spun. She felt exposed, vulnerable. But at the same time, a small part of her couldn't help but feel grateful. Her story was out there, and maybe it could inspire others. By evening, news outlets had picked up the story. Clips of the encounter were broadcasted on every major network. Elon, as expected, had remained silent about it. When reporters reached out for a statement, his team responded with a brief message. Sometimes, the smallest gestures have the biggest impact. But the ripple effect of his gesture was anything but small. Across social media, people began sharing their own stories of kindness, both given and received. A movement started under the hashtag #PayItForward. Strangers offered to cover grocery bills, pay for meals, and even help with rent for families in need. Clara's experience became a symbol of what one act of generosity could spark. Meanwhile, Clara's own life began to change in ways she couldn't have imagined. The local news station asked for an interview. Though nervous, she agreed, hoping to use the moment to shed light on the struggles of single mothers like herself. During the interview, she shared her story, not just about Elon Musk, but about the daily battles she faced to provide for her kids. It's not just about the groceries, she said, her voice cracking. It's about the reminder that there are still people who care. And if someone like him can take the time to do this, maybe we all can. The interview went viral, further amplifying the movement. Donations poured in for Clara, though she humbly redirected much of it to charities supporting single parents. This isn't just my story, she told her growing audience. It's ours. Despite the media frenzy, Elon remained in the background, refusing to take credit or make public appearances about the event. Clara, however, felt an unshakable desire to thank him properly. Weeks later, an unexpected email arrived in Clara's inbox. It was from a representative of Elon Musk's foundation. The email was brief but heartfelt. Dear Clara, Mr. Musk has seen your interview and was deeply moved by how you've used your moment to inspire others. He wants you to know that the strength and resilience you've shown are what truly matter. As a token of support, we would like to offer assistance with your children's education and any additional needs you may have. Please don't hesitate to reach out. Warm regards, the Musk Foundation team. Clara's hands trembled as she read the email aloud to Maria. Can you believe this? He doesn't want anything in return, not even recognition. Maria smiled. Well, you did say this wasn't just your story. Maybe he sees that too. With the foundation's support, Clara was able to enroll her children in better schools and finally breathe easier knowing their future was secure. But she didn't stop there. Inspired by Elon's gesture, Clara began volunteering at local food banks, speaking at community events, and sharing her journey to remind others of the power of kindness. Months later, Clara was invited to a private event hosted by Elon Musk's foundation. When she finally met Elon face-to-face, she couldn't hold back her gratitude. I don't know if you'll ever understand what your gesture meant to me and my family, she said. Elon, ever humble, simply replied, sometimes, it's the small things that matter most. You've taken this moment and turned it into something far greater than I ever could. The event marked not an ending, but a beginning. Clara's story continued to inspire millions, proving that even the smallest acts of kindness could spark movements of change. What would you have done if you were in Clara's shoes? Or Elon's? Acts of kindness, big or small, can change lives in ways we never expect. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let us know how you'd #PayItForward in your own way. And hey, if this story inspired you, share it with someone who could use a little hope today.